Welcome to SATV News. This is Kushramin with our headlines. BNP will prioritize ending India's hegemony, says Mirza Fakhrul, a group trying to create division within BNP. Nation's future will be bleak if election mirrors past polls, says Jamaat's Secretary General. 9-day security plan worked out for peaceful national elections, says Home Affairs Advisor. Now in details. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir has said that if his party comes to power with the people's mandate, it will place special priorities to the issues of Farakka and Tista. He made the remark today following a visit to the rubber dam built over the Mahananda River in Chapai-Nawabganj. He also said that fair water sharing and border killings will receive greater emphasis, and the party will give stronger priority to stopping what he described as India's hegemony over Bangladesh. India is a neighboring country and can easily maintain good relations with Bangladesh if it chooses to, he added. The BNP leader further said that a certain group is attempting to create division within the BNP. In this situation, he urged party leaders and activists to remain vigilant. Meanwhile, BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi today said the spirit of the July uprising is to build a new Bangladesh free from fascism and repression. Speaking to journalists in the capital Shamoli, Mr. Rizvi also said the July uprising envisioned a country where people enjoy freedom of expression, political voices are not suppressed, and citizens live with security. He reiterated BNP's support for the July National Charter, but stressed that its essence is public. Rizvi also criticized the referendum process, saying the questions must be framed so ordinary people can understand. Accusing the Awami League of attempting to create unrest with financial backing from India, Rizvi alleged the party is trying to spread fear through acts of violence, including burning vehicles in Dhaka and Gazipur. He said that the deposed autocrat is engaged in conspiracies from a neighboring country, pushing the nation towards instability. The BNP leader further said the trial of former Premier Sheikh Hasina is a matter of the court. Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami Secretary General Mia Gholam Parwar warned today that if the upcoming election follows the pattern of 2014, 2018 and 2024, the nation's future will be extremely bleak. Speaking at a road meeting at Zero Point in Khulna while inaugurating a motorcycle procession, Gholam Parwar urged the administration to remain neutral and ensure a transparent election. He emphasized that all candidates must have equal opportunities to carry out their election work. Gholam Parwar criticized past officials for partiality, saying all the OCs and SPs who worked for a particular party in the past have fled. The Chief Justice has fled. The DIG and Police Commissioner have fled. Even OCs have left their posts and gone across the border to India. Home Affairs Advisor, retired Lieutenant General MD Jahangir Alam Choudhury today said that a special law enforcement and security deployment plan will be placed for 9 days over the upcoming national election. The plan includes 5 days prior to the election, 1 day on the election day, and 3 days following the vote, with strict security measures enforced throughout, and the duration may be adjusted depending on the country's situation, he said while talking to journalists at Potuakhali Circuit House. The advisor also said the army currently has 30,000 personnel deployed, but this number is expected to rise to nearly 1 lakh during the election period. BGP will contribute around 35,000 members, while the Navy and the Coast Guard will deploy 5,000 and 4,000 personnel, respectively, he added. Industries advisor Dr. Adilur Rahman Khan has said the government plans to establish a modern urea fertilizer factory in Bhola to utilize the district's large gas reserves. Speaking to journalists after inspecting two proposed sites near Ferighat in Bhola Shodor Upazila this afternoon, he said a feasibility study for the project is already underway. There is a huge amount of gas in Bhola. No other district in the country has such a large reserve, he said. The government wants to use this gas for national development and for strengthening the agriculture sector, he added. Dr. Khan said if the feasibility study yields positive results, the government will move forward. EC to sit with 13 parties, including Jamaat, on Monday. The Election Commission EC will hold talks on Monday with 12 more registered political parties, including Bangladesh Jamaat Islami, as part of its ongoing dialogue ahead of the 13th Jatiyo সংসদ Parliament election. The dialogue that began on Thursday will take place at the conference hall of the election building in the capital Sagarga, with Chief Election Commissioner A.M. Nasiruddin in the chair, said EC officials. Talking to BSS, MD Ashadul Haq, Assistant Director, Public Relations and Alternative Information Officer at the EC Secretariat today, said that the session from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. will involve discussion with Bangladesh Labour Party, Bangladesh Sangstrantik Mukti Jot, Bangladesh National Awami Party, Bikal Pandra Bangladesh, Bangladesh Kollan Party and Bangladesh Muslim League BML. We're taking a short break. Please stay with us.
Grand Palace. Relax in spacious rooms and suites. Enjoy local and international cuisines. Banquet and conference room. Helipad. Gymnasium. Beauty salon. Restaurants and bar, cafe lounge, experience luxury at Grand Palace, Rangpur.
Welcome back. You're watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. A blast that killed 9 people at the Naugram police station in Indian administered Kashmir was accidental, a senior police official said on Saturday, adding that any other speculation into the cause of the incident is unnecessary. Jammu and Kashmir Director General of Police Nalin Prabhat also confirmed that 9 people were killed when a pile of confiscated explosive blew up at the police station. In addition, 27 police personnel, now revenue officials, and 3 civilians from the adjacent areas have been injured, added the police chief. The blast comes 4 days after a deadly car explosion in Indian capital New Delhi killed at least 8 people in what the government has called a terror incident.
In this unfortunate incident, 9 people have lost their lives. 1 personnel.
US President Donald Trump suggested on Friday that a decision could come soon on whether or not to take military action against Venezuela, which he has accused of close ties to the illegal drug trade. I can't tell you what it would be, but I can sort of made up my mind on Venezuela, Trump told reporters on board Air Force One. Senior Trump administration officials have held 3 meetings at the White House this week to discuss options for possible military operations in Venezuela, officials said on Friday, amid a growing U.S. military presence in the Caribbean. Trump has deployed F-35 aircraft, warships, and a nuclear submarine to the region as part of a military buildup following 2 months of deadly strikes against boats off Venezuela. Earlier this week, the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier strike group moved into the Latin America region, bringing with it more than 75 aircraft and over 5,000 troops.
But we have a Mexico problem, we have a Colombia.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro delivered an anti-war message to the people of the U.S. on Friday as he closed the international jurist meeting in defense of international law in Caracas. Stop the insane hand of those who order bombing, killing, and bringing war to South America, to the Caribbean. Maduro said, "Stop the war, no to war," he added. His remarks came as Washington announced Operation Southern Spear, a military initiative aimed at targeting narco-terrorists in the Western Hemisphere. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on Thursday the operation would be led by the U.S. Southern Command, which oversees military activities across 31 countries in South and Central America and the Caribbean. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday said he was asking the Department of Justice to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's alleged ties with J.P. Morgan and several prominent Democratic figures, including former President Bill Clinton. The request comes after a congressional committee released thousands of documents that raise new questions about Trump's relationship with a convicted sex offender. Along with Clinton, who socialized with the late financier in the early 2000s, Trump said he had asked the Justice Department to investigate former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers and Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn founder, who is also a Democratic donor. While 9 in 10 Republicans say they approve of Trump's performance in the White House overall, just 4 in 10 say they approve of his handling of the Epstein files, according to Reuters' Ipsos poll conducted in October. North Korean troops who helped Russia repel a major Ukrainian incursion into its western Kursk region are now playing an important role in clearing the area of mines, the Russian Defense Ministry said on Friday. Video published by the Russian Defense Ministry showed North Korean troops being shown different types of mines and mine detection equipment, taking part in training exercises and singing patriotic songs. Russian military news outlet Krasnaya Zvezda said the Russian and North Korean soldiers were dealing with a previously unseen density of anti-tank and anti-personnel mines left behind by Ukrainian forces in Kursk. It said many of the devices had been manufactured by NATO countries. A survey conducted by the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon last month found that a wall built by the Israeli military crosses the blue line, the de facto border, a UN spokesperson said on Friday. The blue line is a UN-mapped line separating Lebanon from Israel and the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Stefan Dujarric, the spokesperson for the UN Secretary-General, said the concrete T-wall erected by the IDF has made more than 4,000 square meters, nearly an acre of Lebanese territory, inaccessible to the local population. A section of an additional wall, which has also crossed the blue line, is being erected southeast of Euron, he said, citing the peacekeeper. Dujarric said UNIFIL informed the Israeli military of its finding and requested that the wall be removed. Gen Z protesters and representatives of transport workers took to the streets of Lima on Friday to demand political reform and measures to address insecurity and corruption in the country. The march, which was blocked by a line of police with shields from reaching Congress, came 3 weeks after Peruvian President Jorge Duerre declared a state of emergency in the capital and the neighboring province of Callao. Duerre was sworn in last month following the ouster of former President Dina Boluarte and vowed to make tackling crime a top priority. Protesters on the march, however, demanded further action. The state of emergency is currently set to expire on November 20th. A fire at an industrial complex on the outskirts of Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, triggered a powerful explosion on Friday night. Although no casualties have been reported so far, local firefighters at the scene said. The explosion occurred due to a fire in 3 buildings storing agrochemical products at a manufacturing complex in the town of Carlos Spinganzini in Buenos Aires province. A Tristan Suarez Fire Department officer told Reuters as crew battled the blaze. According to the chief officer of the Carlos Spinganzini station of the Tristan Suarez Fire Department, no fatalities have been reported so far, and units are working to bring the fire under control. The mayor of Zayza said that the origin of the fire had not been yet determined, but that only minor injuries had been reported in homes near the industrial park. Meanwhile, 3 people have been killed and another 3 injured after a bus crashed into a bus stop in central Stockholm on Friday. Swedish police said, adding that they had no information pointing to it being an attack. The incident occurred near the Royal Institute of Technology University. There were 6 casualties in the incident, a spokesperson for Stockholm's rescue services said, without giving the numbers of those killed or those injured. The spokesperson said there were no passengers on the bus at the time. It is being investigated as involuntary manslaughter. The bus driver has been arrested, but that is routine in such an incident, a police spokesperson said, adding they had no information pointing to it being an attack. French police shot and wounded a knife-wielding man at Paris' Montparnasse train station on Friday, said the Paris prosecutor's office. An officer used his weapon on the man, who then inflicted knife wounds on himself, the prosecutor's office said in a statement. The prosecutor's office said at least 1 gunshot was heard. The man was known to police for domestic violence, the prosecutor's office said. At least 5 Chinese tourists were killed and 8 others were likely injured on the Indonesian resort island of Bali on Friday after the rental minibus plunged into a shallow ravine, officials said. The 13 Chinese nationals were heading to the region of Buleleng in northern part of Bali from the city of Denpasar when the accident happened, said local police head Wildan Sutadi. The victims were taken to the nearest hospital, where 5 of them died. The driver survived and was injured. Before ending, we'll go to the headlines again. BNP will prioritize ending India's hegemony, says Mirza Fakhrul, a group trying to create division within BNP. Nation's future will be bleak if election mirrors past polls, says Jamaat General Secretary. 9-day security plan worked out for peaceful national elections, says Home Affairs Advisor. You're updated with the top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.